privileged to have Sumaiya Shomaji among us. Sumaiya is an assistant professor at the University of Kansas. Prior to joining University of Kansas, Sumaiya served the same at Texas Tech University. Without further ado, I will hand it over to Sumaiya to start the webinar.
Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen and then I will start my presentation. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, yes, we can see.
Yeah, but not the slides.
Yeah, I haven't opened that yet. Let me just pull that. Can you see the slides now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So thank you to the lovely hosts for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. I'm Sumaiya, and I'm going to be your today's presenter. And I feel great to be here among you. But before I start, I just wanted to make a quick announcement that I'm not in the very best shape today. I recently recovered from cold flu, so I still have some voice down right now, and I might feel some coughing in between when I talk for continuously. So I might just take few breaks if needed, just letting you know ahead of time. So before I start my presentation, let me tell you a brief introduction about me. So I had my master's and PhD done from the University of Florida, from the Department of EECS in the year of 2021. And then right after that, I was fortunate enough to get a job at Texas Tech University, and I joined there as assistant professor. And I was in the Department of Computer Science, and I mainly taught there for 2 of the semesters, which are spring and summer. And then I joined University of Kansas as, again, an assistant professor. This time I joined in the EECS department, and I joined basically from last fall, which is 2022 fall. So I teach a wide variety of topics, and my research is also based on many diverse topics. So first I will go ahead with my teaching experience sharing, and then I'll say something about my research. So am I clearly audible to all of all of you?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So when I joined University of Kansas, I started teaching biometric authentication because that's the course I love most teaching about, and my PhD research and my most of the focus of the work is actually entitled into this area, which is biometric authentication. So I was the first one to offer the course for the very first time at KU. That's something I did at KU, but in Texas Tech University, I used to teach design and analysis of algorithms. And I also teach computer vision image processing course as well. And when I was a student at University of Florida, I had to work for the biometric course as a TA. So I got my first exposure of teaching at this course from my PhD life. So I'm now quite I feel quite confident teaching the course because I have taught that multiple times, and it feels great to see when I get huge responses from a large body of students to enroll for this course. Like right now, I'm going to teach around 51 students next semester for this course. So usually in grad classes, this number is quite big. So not all of the grad courses get this huge response. So I was happy to see that many students are interested to know more about biometrics. So I again offered the course next semester to them. And now we can talk a little bit about my research. So my main research focus is on biometrics, but I also do work in hardware security and healthcare monitoring as well. But there is actually a common trait in my work. So I have skill or expertise in the field of machine learning, image processing, computer vision, and data structures. So I mainly utilize this knowledge of mine to solve emerging challenges or problems in diverse domain in IoT. And that mainly include biometrics, hardware security or cyber security, and healthcare monitoring. So in today's talk, I'm going to particularly stick to my experience from my biometric project. So I'm going to share that how we can protect our identity in this IoT era with biometric authentication. So we are right now living in an era of IoT where numerous devices are connected with each other and numerous users are using them. And in order to make sure that the legit user is using his or her designated device, the user authentication is very important. And throughout my PhD and my teaching career as of now, I aim to look for novel solutions for the authentication related problems in IoT, especially in the domain of biometrics. And as I mentioned, my solutions are based on applied machine learning, image processing, and various data structures. So what is a biometric system? So it's the technology or the system that uses our unique biological property to identify us. For example, when I see Roti, I know that it's her because I know how her face looks like. Or today I saw Tanzim, I met Tanzim Apu. So maybe next time when I see her somewhere, I'll be able to say hi, Tanzim Apu, because I know how exactly her facial appearance is. So that's something makes her unique from all of us. So Roti has a different face. Tanzim Apu has a different face. I have a unique face. And so does my fingerprint, my palm print, my iris. These are few of the features which are unique for me and which are different from all of yours. So this is the property that can be actually utilized to identify me or a particular user from all of the other people. So this is very advantageous because biometric systems are highly secure. For example, if I have a password and ID to say log into a system and somehow Roti gets to know that, she can easily just maybe type in those and get access into my accounts. But if I'm using my face biometrics, then it's very difficult for her to mimic myself because I look very different from her. So security-wise, biometric systems are really very secure. And then it's easy to carry because say if you have 8 different email IDs or social media, then you have to actually remember all those IDs and passwords. But if you use biometric technology, you don't have to remember anything. You basically carry the properties with you all the time. So there's no hassle of remembering or carrying the password or the ID anymore. So it's very hassle-free and it's very convenient for the users. And the most important thing is that it's very difficult to lose the biometric property because sometimes say we stored my password somewhere, maybe I have written that down and maybe it got deleted somehow and or Google cannot remember that. Then you have to again reset the password or have to think about doing some sort of updating. But your biometric is something which already is with you, and there's this no way you can actually lose that. So biometric is easier to carry, easier to remember, and also it will be always with you till you leave. So there's no way you have to lose that. So it's always with you. So as I was saying that this is a very important course because nowadays biometric authentication can be applicable in so many different applications. And maybe you are already using lots of biometrics unknowingly. Say when you log into your iPhone or when you are using your laptop, maybe you are offering the fingerprint or face who knows? So all these are some example of biometric authentication. So when I teach the course or when I perform research on this topic, there are some key topics I try to focus on. Say the common three biometrics are the face biometrics, then the iris biometrics, which directly comes from our eye, and then we have fingerprint biometrics. And then we try to focus on how many attack points can be there on a biometric system, because these days the attackers or the hackers are also very smart, and they're smart enough to break your system. So we study what types of attacks are possible in the biometric system, and we try to see in how many ways we can provide security to the biometric system. So honestly, when you just know about biometric system from this kind of upper level, it really sounds very dreamy that, okay, now we have a solution for all the security related problem, just use biometric and we'll be good. But it's not that easy when you really try to implement that into your system. So there are four major issues for which you cannot do that. Say the first one is the storage one. Our face contains a lot of information, and say if you have, if you work in a hospital and the hospital decided that they are going to set up a biometric system so that only the authorized people can enter into the building, and say in the hospital maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people work in a day, and our face data are so long that if you start storing those 1,000 people's face data, you need to have a very large amount of storage to store all the templates. So storage is costly. So larger storage is not always desirable. So that's one drawback with the biometric system. And then there are also time issues, because the biometric templates are very long. So if you want to perform a match between, say, Tanzima Apu's biometric versus mine, you have to wait for some time, because maybe she has, say, 300 features. I have 300 features. So we usually go feature by feature while doing the matching. So it's a little bit time consuming when you do the match, and people are in rush today. No one wants to wait for a minute or two just to get accessed into a system. So you have to keep in mind that how you can make it a little bit faster while doing the processing. So time consumption is another issue with biometric system. And then we have security and privacy issues. So I don't know if you guys know that there was once an incident that around 5.6 million people's fingerprints were stolen from one of the federal offices. So that's actually a huge concern, because say if I have Rote's face and fingerprint data, maybe I can actually create a fake bank account or social media profile for her. So that's something I can actually use her to defame her. So that's a very threatening way of how biometric can be misused by hackers. And then finally, there are noise issues. Say this morning when I was getting enrolled into my system, say I thought that I'll use face biometrics to log into my phone. Maybe that's the exact same way how I got enrolled in my cell phone. But maybe tonight I attended a party and I am in a like heavy glamorous makeup, and if I try to get into my system again with that heavily makeup done face, it will not recognize me. Maybe it will say that you are not wearing any glass, or why your eyes are so big now and your hairstyle is completely changed. So it will think that I'm a different person trying to access the system. So due to noise, sometimes we get rejected from the biometric systems, even though we are the genuine user. So these are the four problems because of which you will not see biometrics everywhere, because we have to solve those, and then you get to see the biometric system in every practical application. So it's not like that these are the problems which are just identified recently. The problems are actually with us from a very long period of time. And there are studies also who try to find a solution out of that. For example, when you use convolutional neural networks, which is say deep learning or AI, they are actually great in identifying people, even if there are lots of noise or the data is challenging. But the problem is that they are super slow and the storage requirement is very high there. And you can also use some traditional machine learning models. They are actually pretty fast and they take less storage. But problem is that if you give them challenging data, like maybe when you are enrolling in the system like this, and next time, say, if you make a hair bun or something, then it will not recognize you. So KNNs look for very exact match of the template. So when we observe that there's no solution possible that can address all the issues, we came up with the very first solution that is actually able to solve all the 4 problems. So I'm not going to go into the technical details, but I'm just going to share a very high level idea of how our systems work. So what we do is, say, if this is the original face biometric database, where say a number of people are enrolled with this kind of templates, we somehow convert them into a new data structure so that you can very easily find them if there's a match. It doesn't require a lot of storage. It also performs very rapid query. And also, even if there is difference in your enrollment template and your second time submitted template, you'll see that the system is still able to recognize you. So what we basically do is we take the original biometric template, we split a person's face in so many smaller parts. Say this lady right here has only the right eye, the left eye, then maybe a part of her mouth. And then as we move on to the next stage, we start containing more information. And what we do is we use a probabilistic data structure to convert her template and then put that in that data structure. So instead of just storing his or her raw face biometric template, we split the face into small pieces, and each part goes through a hashing. Hashing means some sort of modification in the image. So we hash them or modify them, and then we put that into a new data structure. By doing so, what we achieve is that we can actually reduce the size of the face templates by 12 times. We can also make the search speed faster by 570 times, which is a huge improvement. And since we don't store their raw templates, we basically just hash them and we store the modified template. That's how we make it secure and private, so that, say, if Roti still attacks my biometric system, all she will see is some bunch of zeros and ones. That doesn't make any sense to her, because that's not even my raw face data. So she cannot do actually anything with that. So that's how we try to secure the user's templates. And also, even if there are noise present, as I mentioned, that maybe today I'm wearing glass and the next time I'm coming to the device, I'm not wearing glass, still it's gonna recognize me because it has very nice noise tolerance limit. So due to that, it can still identify me. And in our system, we got 0% false positive and 0% false negative. That confirms that we got 100% true positive and true negative. So that's actually a complete solution for all the problems, and it can be easily applied into any sort of application if you want to employ a biometric system. So that was some idea about my research. And if you want to know more, you can just let me know later. I can share my email address. That way we can maybe share more details about the research work. But now I'm going to discuss something different and maybe more exciting. So when I was actually preparing the slides, and I was in touch of one of our hosts, Roti, and we both agreed that we only get to hear about only the technical details in webinars or technical talks, but we often strive to know that what exactly the students or the teachers do at backstage. So I have decided that maybe I'm going to share some contents that's going to show our life here, that what we do in the classroom or outside the classroom, or what we do in terms of research, teaching, and more. So here's a short tour of mine from my PhD journey to my faculty journey, which I'm going to share with some pictures in the next few slides. So when I joined University of Florida as a PhD student, there were three major duties I had to do. So the first one, and say 70% of my duties or focus was on my research work, because I was a research assistant. So by research work, I mean that the professors have many research projects going on, and my professor used to give me some particular works that, hey, in this project, you do this 5 steps and let me know how the results are coming. So I used to work on his projects, and in weekly basis, I used to give him updates, and based on that, he used to assign me some next work. And then when there is enough good finding or results, we used to write academic papers, and we used to send those to different journals or conferences. And sometimes our work gets published there, and people really praise your work. You get invitation to present your talk there. So for example, here I have a picture when I published a paper on one of my healthcare related projects, which is on how you can early detect if you have cardiovascular disease or not. Then I actually presented that work of mine in one of the conference. So this is actually part of the RA duty, that you do research, you write papers, you try to publish somewhere, and when it's published, you talk about that among audiences so that you can get some nice feedback and you can improve your work further. And then we have some designated courseworks. So if I'm not wrong, I had to do 30 credits of coursework there. And in order to have actually the assistantship continuing, you should try to get some decent grades, because if your GPA falls, then you actually lose the assistantship. So keeping a nice GPA in your coursework is also very essential for the PhD students, especially if you are working as a teaching or research assistant. And then for 2 of the semesters, I worked as a teaching assistant as well. That means there was an instructor in the course, but I used to help him with coming up with the exam questions, designing the homework question. And I actually taught in some of the classes as well when he was traveling. So this kind of comprise what are the duties of a PhD student. And then when I joined as a faculty, my duties are more or less same, but there are definitely some changes. So sorry. So in terms of teaching, I still teach the topics which I find most interesting to me, or the department has some need. Say there are particular courses for which students really look forward to get enrolled. So we try to offer those courses so that we can help the students with a good amount of knowledge for those courses. So here I have a picture. So these are my students. They actually took a selfie at the very last class, and this is my TA now. So yeah, within a year, actually, my life changed. So I used to be in front of the table first, and now I'm working behind the table. That's how I define how my teaching duties are now. And then we also do lots of departmental duties. For example, when I was at Texas Tech University, I was a member of the graduate student admission committee. So my task was to go through the application packages and identify those who can potentially get the application. But here in University of Kansas, my duties are different. So say here I was hosting our departmental award ceremony. So he is my TA, actually. He received an award as well. And I right now I'm working as a member in the faculty search committee. So if any of you have gone through the faculty hiring process, or if anyone is interested, you might know that there are 2 stages in the faculty hiring process. In the very first stage, you get to have a phone interview with the interviewer. So my duty is to conduct that first round of interview. So I, along with the other committee members, we call the interested candidates or set up Zoom meetings, and we do the initial screening. And then if we like them, then we invite them for the next round of interview, which is a campus interview. So they basically come and they stay with us for a day or two, and then we talk more and more about his or her passion, duties, and then we hire the faculties. So right now I do those kind of stuff. So I was also thinking that, okay, how I should picture as myself doing the research, because I don't have any decent photo that I'm doing research in my office. Then I thought there's no better way than showing my research accomplishment with this picture. So this is a picture where you can see that our team won the first prize. They recently been to the topmost conference for hardware security, and they actually won the first prize there in one of the competitions. So that was a very happy and proud moment for all of us, because this competition is very prestigious and it's very competitive to get recognition there. So we were fortunate enough that we got the first prize there. So there's a picture of them when they were showing their work. So that's what we do. When I say research, that means we identify a problem, we try to look for some solutions, then we try to come up with a proposal, a novel solution, we try to implement that. And when we understand that maybe now it's in a decent position, we try to take that work to a large number of, in front of large audience, so that we can receive some feedbacks or at least hear that how they feel about our work. So this is really nice, getting praises from others. We don't just work all day, we do fun stuffs as well. So last semester, our Bangladeshi community arranged a soccer tournament, and we were again lucky enough that our students got the champions trophy and the runners-up trophy as well. So all these are our students. I actually forgot to mention about my husband. So the guy right here, he's my husband. His name is Tamzidul. He's also an assistant professor at the same university. So we both run a combined lab where we have 5 PhD students and around 7 or 8 masters and undergrad students. So we do lots of collaboration and we do lots of combined work as well. And then we also attended a Bangladeshi wedding, of which we are very happy about, because not every day you get to attend Bangladeshi wedding at US. So that was a really happy moment for us. So I'm almost done with my presentation. In the conclusion, I just wanted to say a few things, that transition is really beautiful, but you have to really put a little bit effort into that. And I don't know if any of the aspiring student is there in this session or not, but I see this is getting recorded. If anyone at least listens to my presentation at any point, I definitely want to tell you that please try for PhD if you have some passion for research or teaching or both. And I can guarantee you that the journey is going to be really challenging, but it's still very enjoyable, because at the end, you really get to see the sweet fruit if you really work hard and put your faith on the Almighty. That's the only thing you have to do. So here is a beautiful transition picture of mine. So when I attended the conference very first time in the year of 2016, I also got the prize, and this time my students are also getting prize. So that was a really happy and proud moment of me. And I actually attached 2 slides on the PhD programs for our department. So there are 2 different PhD programs. Either you can get a PhD from computer science or electrical engineering. And these are some admission requirements, that the GPA has to be above or around above 3.5. And then the GRE is actually required, but I think sometimes they waive the GRE, but for that, the student has to contact the graduate office and see if they can waive that. And then the student will also need 3 letters of recommendation, and also definitely a TOEFL or IELTS score. Though in the website, they don't mention IELTS, but I have seen students can still get admission with IELTS score. And these are the application materials if someone wants to apply. So they have to put up a nice application package. There should be an essay which says why he or she wants to come into this program and what are her future research goals. So it's called statement of objectives, and then he or she should attach a resume and then there should be official transcript, then again recommendation letters, then TOEFL or IELTS score. And if they don't receive funding, then they should also be able to show some financial statements. And this is mainly for the international students. So I have also attached a link here. All the details will be found here. So that's it. So I think I had a nice time talking to all of you. I wish there could be more people whom I can share this information, but again, I'm just an email away. If anyone wants to ask any more question, maybe after the session, I'll be also happy to answer that. And I just want to thank everyone who have helped me to come this along, especially my family. Firstly, the Almighty, definitely, because of His mercy, I'm actually here. And then my family members have also helped me a lot. My parents, my husband, my in-laws, everyone is very nice to me. And also I'm very lucky that I have a wonderful group of students. I get, sometimes motivated by looking at them, the way, the energy they have, the way they are working. Say, for example, today I have actually my daughter's first birthday, and they have been working on their projects yesterday till 5 p.m. very hard. And right after that, they suddenly showed up and they said that we are going to do all the decorations and cooking. So it's really nice to have someone in office and also outside the office who really cares for you. So I'm very lucky to have this nice bunch of people around me, and it's great to have such a nice environment here. So thank you so much once again for joining and hearing. And I think we're almost done, and I think I can take some questions if someone is having any. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Sumaiya. I think you covered everything so well. Like everything was to me like everything like crystal clear. I had a little bit of idea on biometric authentication, but not this in detail. But it felt like I am just hearing some story, and a storyteller is going through it, and it was interesting, really. It was so nice. So I will go ahead and take some time for questions now. Feel free to ask me any questions, or if you want to put that in chat, I can bring that up here. Yeah, we will go ahead and take some questions. Any questions from our Tanzima Apu, our president? No one has any question?
I just wanted to add that Sumaiya was so great. She explained so nicely that I really don't have questions, but I want to say that it made a lot of things clear for me. And also the ending part, she gave so many information for PhD students. I think that's also really great. We are going to share this with all the members. I think it will benefit a lot of students. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Naiman. Anybody else has any question? I have a question though. I have a question from one of my niece. She was asking me, she's doing some undergrad in microbiology in BRAC University at Bangladesh, but she doesn't like it. So she wants to come United States and complete her undergrad. So I am pretty much familiar with the process of graduate studies, but not so much with the undergrad. So if you have anything to share how it works for the undergrad students, then that will be helpful.
So I'm not actually the best person who can answer this, but I know a little bit about the undergrads. So what I know is that they definitely have to, so if she wants to come along with some scholarship, then I think it might be a little difficult, because I honestly don't see a lot of scholarship opportunities for the undergrad students. So he or she should definitely keep in mind that the financial thing is really important, and she should somehow take care of that. And also, I believe if she has a decent SAT score, or if she has nice extracurricular activities, like if she has been to physics or math Olympiads before, or say if she participated in any well-recognized competition or somewhere where she got a recognition, this actually helps the students a lot, at least secure some funding. So I think she can also focus a little bit about her profile build up this way. And I think if she applies into undergrads, I honestly, there are not a lot of criteria based on that one should get or not get the admission. But yes, it's very difficult to get an admission with some financial assistance or scholarship. So I think my suggestion would be for her that she can focus on getting a good score in the language test, and if she can do some sort of work like extracurricular thing, then that will also help to make her profile stronger.
Thank you. I will pass this message to her, and I still have 2 more questions. So we have enough time to answer those. So another question is about your student. So how more often or quite often you take graduate student like PhD or masters in your team, depending on your funding? Because I got 2, 3 resumes from different places. Probably I already sent one to you. So if you can make a clear vision to everyone, like what you want in them, like what you see in their resume, and most professors, what they want in a student. And yeah, from there we can start, then we will have more questions.
Sure. Thank you for the nice set of questions. So my first question, the question for which I want to answer first is that what qualities may a professor look for in his or her potential students? So to me, it was just how much a student already has the skill for which I'm actually looking for. Say, I originally, my undergrad was from electrical engineering, and when I started working on my PhD projects, I struggled a lot because they were very computer science and computer engineering oriented. So with the time when there were projects that required me to learn some skills from those discipline, I learned those by myself. But I always felt that if I was a computer science or computer engineering background, things would have been very easier for me. So when I started looking for students, I strictly followed that criteria that I will only hire someone from the computer science or computer engineering background, because I know some of the electrical engineering stuff, but I felt that maybe there are still lots of things which I still don't know. I want someone who can actually complement my skill. So that's why I mostly interviewed the students who were from the computer science and computer engineering background. And the funny thing is that when I share some flyer that I'm looking for a student, I honestly got more than, I think, 100 emails that they are very desperate to work with me. And then I told them that, okay, this is difficult to filter out some of them and whom should I hire. So I told them that, okay, let's meet you over Zoom, and then I'm going to give you some tasks and I'll see how good you are at that. At least I think 70% of the students dropped right away. And then the 30% whom I interviewed, I actually gave them some tasks. I told them that I'm giving you 10 days and I'll see what outputs you can make for me. And after 10 days, I saw that again, half of the students were dropped. They did not even reply me back that, hey, I'm done and something. And then some of the students, so the coding problem, which I actually shared with them, were not a difficult one, but still many of them could not do that. And I was a little surprised that you are saying that you belong to the computer engineering background. This is a very common problem. You should be able to do that. But what actually excited me in some of the students were maybe they could not do that properly, but they somehow found another way, or they did lots of research related work in that problem, and then they put onto some say new solutions that say this is something that have been done this far. Maybe if you hire me, I can actually extend the work in that direction. I did some search and then I found that these are something never done in this field. So that really excited me, that either you should be very much skilled to work with me, or it's okay if you don't know much of them, but you should be having a mind like a researcher. You should be willing to embrace those problems, and you should show me the interest that if I hire you, you will work hard so that you can train yourself to be on the position. So I honestly don't want any intelligent but lazy students. Rather, it's okay if you have zero knowledge. I just want you to enjoy your work and work a little bit hard. That's the only thing. I'm here to train you, to help you to get to that stage, but you have to commit me that you will bear with the process and you will just try to work as like a punctual one. So that's the only criteria for me. But again, this may vary from professor to professor.
Yeah, of course. I feel like I want to be your student now because
You're
intelligent.
too qualified to
Well,
be my
show me what to
student.
do. I
No,
will
no,
do.
I cannot hire you. You're too qualified.
Oh my God. We have a question in our chat
Oh,
box.
chat panel. Yeah.
It is from Abdurrahman. Is it possible to integrate biometric with web-based single sign-on system? How can get this recording? We will upload this recording in our website. We will share it later on. But the first question is,
Yeah,
is it
I think
possible?
it's for me.
Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely possible to integrate biometrics in web-based single sign-on system. I haven't done that personally, like in any of the project. I don't really do that. But what I have seen in this field is that people are very much concerned about their privacy. So a lot of the times it has happened that people, don't like sharing their biometric templates unless they know that where they're putting that. For example, say I have this iPhone and I use face biometric here because I know that this device stays with me. But say if there is a random street camera, say it was installed for surveillance purpose, and the duty of the camera is to take pictures of anyone who will pass by the road or the in that location. It's going to capture the picture, the person's image. I honestly might not feel comfortable because I don't know who's actually storing the template. Then where is the image going? Who's going to misuse that? So I think if someone can ensure privacy and security more into the web-based services, then biometric can be really a wonderful option for sign-in related thing. I think that's one of the challenges why still we don't see biometric everywhere, because of the privacy issue. Is that what you were looking for?
I hope
Or
this is the answer you are looking for. So anyone else have any questions? Oh, yeah, thank you. Thanks to you too. Anyone else have any questions? It doesn't have to be the topic specific. Any questions like graduate admission or research topics or how to get teaching assistantship, anything anyone wants to know? We are right at 11:50. We have 10 more minutes left.
Hey, hello, Tanzima. Thanks for stopping by at our Michigan chapter, and thanks for your time. So I'm not in this field for the declaration, but I just was wondering, like always when we think about biometrics, it comes with some risk of, like if anybody can want to harm you, they can always like take your finger off and your eyes off, right, and use it. So
yes.
regarding that, if we think about using like the blockchain-based, security-based thing versus this, which is what do you think is more appropriate for a human being to use in future?
Of course, you actually pointed out a very nice direction, and we are also working on that actually. So you can think of blockchain as just a basic data structure, even though we often see blockchain as a medium of tracking the transaction things, say Ethereum or some other, whenever you are doing financial transaction, that is actually stored in the blockchain. But blockchain actually has the potential to store any data. For example, in many of the hospitals, they are considering blockchains because that way they can make the storing of the patient's information more secure and private. So I will just quickly share one of my slides again, and then just a moment, and go back to your question. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So yes, as you were mentioning that the attackers are so smart these days due to the advancement of, say, image processing and machine learning, they can easily impersonate ourselves. For example, say I have touched the cell phone maybe 1,000 times. If you just simply use a particular chemical on top of the case, and then you put a paper on that, and then when you take that off, my fingerprint is now imprinted on that paper. Or if you just have a picture of me, you can simply make a 3D mask out of my picture and wear that and fool the device, and the device will think it's you who's trying to log in. It's not, sorry, the device will think it's me who's trying to get into the system. So these are some issues because attackers really know how to crack a system and then get into that impersonating you. But that's why I was talking about how we can modify the template. That way, even if someone can have your raw template, but when you get yourself enrolled in a system, we no longer suggest using the raw template. For example, say if this is the lady, this is her raw template. Instead of enrolling her into the iPhone with this raw template, you see, I splitted her face into so many small pieces. For each piece, I actually do lots of hash operation. In blockchain also, there are hashing. That means they take a raw data, they maybe jumble the data or modify the data, maybe truncate the data, or do lots of processing on the data so that it will look way different than how it was originally looking. So that way, when you try to enroll someone with the modified version like we are doing here, so this is our now updated face database, we enroll the person with multiple instances of hers, and instead of using this raw thing, we just convert that into some other bunch of numbers, and then we put that here. That's how we enroll her. So this is the way how we can protect someone from stealing her biometrics, because an attacker can easily now get her face data, but the attacker doesn't know what sort of modification we are doing inside of blockchain or in this data structure. So even though he or she has the raw data of his target, he actually cannot do anything. So that's why security and privacy is very important. And instead of using the raw biometric templates, if you just do some sort of modification, that actually solves the problem. Does that
Thank you, and thank you. I apologize. Maybe I have said your name wrong. Maybe your name came with the other tag.
Oh, no,
Did I say Tanzima? Most probably. So sorry for that. Okay.
No problem at all. So we are almost at the end of our webinar. If anyone has any last minute question, otherwise we're gonna end this session. Anyone has any last minute question?
Okay. Hey, it's Mohammed Abdul Rahman again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just wanna ask, actually I'm working for identity and access management in Columbia University. So but I apologize, I totally missed the presentation, but it's really a great presentation. I can imagine. That's what I'm expecting for the presentation recordings. One question is, do you have any ambition for business in biometric or authentication, single sign-on based authentication system?
Can you say the last line again? Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly.
Do you have any ambition for business in single, like any entrepreneurship or single sign-on based biometric solutions?
At the moment, I didn't have any plan on doing anything like that. But yes, if I can actually make a very soundproof system like that, we are right now actually working on some out of the shelf biometric system. I will definitely consider the option once we actually achieve at least few milestones in that, because the existing biometric systems have already achieved so many things. So in order to say get into a like business or market into the upcoming systems, there should be something notably different from the existing ones. Maybe if you spend $50, you can easily get a very knife fingerprint recognition system. So I think business might be successful only in that case if you are doing something different, so that people can get attracted by your work. Either you can do some storage efficiency more than what people are doing, or your say matching accuracy has to be higher. I think somewhere you have to meet the criteria, and then you can think about that. But I think that was a great suggestion. Maybe in future I can consider that, but honestly, as of now, I haven't thought about that yet. But I like taking challenges and also doing new stuff. So yes, definitely that can be an option in future.
Wow,
Thank
good to know. Yeah, thank you too. Sumaiya, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap up? Because we are almost at the end.
No, I think that's pretty much
Right.
everything covered.
Then I would like to share some quick information. If you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions, please feel free to reach out to us at abea.gs@gmail.com. I will share in chat as well. Also, don't forget to follow our Facebook page to get notified about our upcoming events and visit our website for more information. So everyone thank you for your participation, and we will love to have you in future webinars as well. And have a great weekend. Thank you, Sumaiya.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.